Hi, I'm Alex from the Southern Ukulele Store and I'm back to talk about AnueNue. AnueNue, a Hong Kong-based ukulele brand that have taken over the world and I would say have been one of the forerunners changing the perception of what you get from a high-end ukulele in the last 10 years. AnueNue came along at a time where there was a perception that if you wanted a high-end ukulele, the only option was to get something that was Hawaiian made. That was a very accurate assessment at the time. There were very few luthiers building pieces, and there was certainly no one building factory ukuleles outside of maybe Kauai in Japan that had that high-end feel to them. And then AnueNue came along and they had a few things that were cool, but then one day the Moonbird came along. The Moonbird was designed by a Japanese master luthier specifically for AnueNue, and it's a concept that they have run with and they have evolved and they have adapted over the last, I think it's 8 years now, it might even be a little bit longer. The Moonbird became the Cedar bird, the Koa bird. They've done more than I've ever had here at Southern Ukulele Store. But we have got some ukuleles that have never set foot in Southern Ukulele Store before today. We're going to take a look today at the Moonbird series. I have the concert, tenor and baritone. That's right. I have the UB200 baritone and it's stunning. It's absolutely chef's kiss good. It's worth the wait if ever a baritone was worth the wait. So we're going to look at the Moonbirds. We're going to look at the Cedar Bird UC214 and the UT214. We're going to look at some of the Koa models that we have here at the moment. We're going to look at some singers. And at the end of the video today, we're going to take a very special look at the whale ukulele, which was an instrument that I have admired from afar, but finally we have here. It has something quite unique about it as well that you don't see very often on ukuleles, and especially not on production ukuleles. It has a double top. So the top of that ukulele that you're looking at right now is cedar and maple. So you've got two very opposite woods working together for a common goal, and that common goal is sexy ukulele tone. Let's take a look now at the Moonbird ukuleles. You have asked for it for 5 years and finally they are here. This is the UB200 Moonbird baritone. The UB200 is quite a big baritone as well. This is the UT200, so this is the tenor for reference. The UB200 is significantly bigger. When you compare them, this has much more of a barrel-like deep guitar tone to it. In fact, a little thing that not many people will pick up on that I have, because I'm nerdy like that, and I know that you are too. The ukuleles, the UT200, UC200 all have the label inside that say ukulele. But for some reason on both the UB200s that we've received, AnueNue have decided to actually label them inside as bird guitars. So even they're kind of considering this part of a bigger family. They also make guitars, AnueNue, those that don't know. And why would you? If you're a ukulele player that doesn't play guitar, you've got no reason to know. But they have taken the guitar version and scaled it down in line with the UT200. The UT200 is so popular that it's actually, AnueNue have taken that design and then they've made guitar lines out of it. That one ukulele concept that changed the world has gone so far. But the UB200 has the thickest tone. We're going to play it for you in a moment. We're going to play them all. But let's talk about the spec. You have moon spruce top, which is where the name comes from. So it's actually, that's where the name originally came from. It was Swiss moon spruce, which is regional spruce. You have the Eclipse maple soundhole rosette. You have Indian rosewood back and sides. You have an ebony fingerboard and bridge, and the styled curves to the body. So you have the cutaway, but you also have some slight contouring. Trademark Carla brand ukuleles. You have some contouring around there, going up to the AnueNue headstock, which is a very modern headstock design, but with the planetary tuners. Ignore my my price tag there for it. You have Mahogany neck, which is a satin finish neck with the high gloss body, the way that people just do things nowadays, so that the neck feels comfortable and mature and warm, but the body itself has the punch of a gloss finish. The UB200 is the I've been most excited to do a sound sample of, except that puzzle ukulele we just featured in a previous video. But mainly because it's probably the uke I've been asked if it exists the most over the last decade of my life. So, you have the UB200, the UC200 and UT200 also special. I'm going to feature the UC200E in the video. The only difference being is the E stands for electric, because there is a pickup in this ukulele. Actually, at the time of filming, I have lots of concert electric ukulele models because they're the ones that I could get, but I'm doing them at the same price as a standard ukulele. I hate doing the proper all-out salesy thing, but it's more just to settle the question when people ask why I've only got the electros. It's because that's what I could get. The UT200 is the acoustic model. You've got the contouring the same on these ukuleles as the Baritone, with the ebony fingerboard and bridge, Swiss moon spruce, Indian rosewood, and the headstock design with those planetary style tuners. Let's give the UC200E, the UT200 and the UB200 a good old play and see what you think. So after nearly a decade of success with the Moonbird, AnueNue sought to bring that design into different price categories. So for those that were looking to maybe compare themselves to like an El Luthio or a Rebel, this ukulele could be a very, very good option for you. This is the AnueNue UT100. The UT100 takes some of the spec from the Moonbird but simplifies it, so the contours are gone but the cutaway remains, that sheer cutaway remains. The headstock is replaced with a traditional slotted headstock, and it gives the whole ukulele a little bit more tension than the Moonbird. It's a bit tighter, it's a bit more guitar-like in feel. But the volute in the neck is lovely. The way it fits into your hands is very different to a Moonbird. It has a high gloss neck, so it actually feels very different from new to a Moonbird as well. But you have the Indian rosewood fingerboard and bridge. You have a lovely figured spruce top on this ukulele with the back and sides. it's more of a traditional setup than, that's not ultra modern and stylistic. It's more for the purist. But sound-wise, it's one of the nicer sounding ukuleles you'll ever hear under £1,000. So I'm going to give the UT100 a play for you now and see what you think. Next up today, we're going to take a look at the Cedar Bird, the UC214E and the UT214. These ukuleles have evolved. There was an earlier incarnation of this instrument, which was, I think, called the Light Bird, which was a cedar-topped version of the AMM3, which was an exclusive ukulele for World of Ukes, and then that evolved eventually into a cedar-topped Moonbird. So this ukulele is the same spec as the UT200s we've just looked at, the Moonbird spec ukuleles we've just looked at, but with a cedar top. The difference between that cedar is slightly warmer than spruce. I think looks-wise as well, different people are going to prefer the looks of these ukes differently. The moon spruce, the moon, that very white-looking top. There's going to be 5 out of 10 people out there that just really, really love that. And then there's going to be people that want something a bit darker, a bit sandier. And that's where the Cedar Bird visually really cuts its teeth as well. You have the same rosette, that Eclipse rosette. You have the ebony fingerboard and bridge with the moon inlays going up to the paddle style headstock with the Goto planetary tuners. The Cedar Bird, we featured the Cedar Bird and Moonbirds against each other many times, so I'm not going to do a direct comparison today. Instead, I'm going to play the UC214E and the UT214 for you now and see what you think. The decay of Cedar is like nothing else. It's so confident. Next up today, we have two very similarly spec'd concert ukuleles around the same kind of price, same kind of woods, both AnueNue, but they do have some differences and it's worth talking about them. So we're going to look at the UC1K and the AKK2E. The AKK2E would be the one that you would conventionally think of as being the cheaper ukulele. Spec-wise, they don't kind of put so much into kind of the selectness of the koa. So each one is quite different, but it doesn't mean that it's ugly. Look how pretty this ukulele is. So you have a koa, it's all solid koa, top, back and sides with a simple sound hole rosette. You have front and back binding, which looks to be mahogany, but it blends in very nicely with the top, back and sides. You'd be forgiven for not seeing it. You have a simple sound hole rosette, but it's a very nice, tasteful abalone rosette. And the body is symmetrical, there's no fancy cutaways to it. The difference on this ukulele comes again in the neck. You have the slotted headstock, so a more traditional headstock with those geared tuners. And the neck shape on this ukulele, first of all, it's a mahogany neck that's high gloss. So if you're wondering the difference between satin and gloss finish neck, gloss necks can feel a bit sticky from new, but it doesn't take long. I would say after about 2 or 3 hours of playing the ukulele, it starts to loosen up. It starts, the natural kind of acidity, the natural alkalines of your sweat on your hands tends to actually take away that finish very, very quickly. But it's something that when you get to higher price points, people take note of from new. The interesting thing is that the neck on the AKK 2E and the UC1K is very different. On this ukulele, it's almost a U shape. So if you imagine you're drawing a U, there's almost a flat point on the bottom. So like a squared off point on the back of the neck to rest your hands. It makes it feel more traditional. It's probably to go with the slotted headstock. It's probably a deliberate design choice for that reason. But the neck on this feels flatter and wider at the base, the part where your thumb will sit when you play. You then have the UC1K. The UC1K is modelled more on the Moonbird, so you have the cutaways there. There's no contouring like you would get on the higher spec models, but you do have a simple maple rosette. The thinner, rounder neck, so more of a C shape. It's curved all the way around as you feel it with your hands. Go into the paddle headstock with the AnueNue logo and the planetary tuners. This still has... The UC1K, once again, will have a gloss neck. It's when you move up to the UC5K, which we're going to look at next, that you start to really feel a difference in the neck. But around the same kind of price, you've got very different feeling instruments made of the same woods. I guess it would just be down to whether you wanted... I would say if you're deciding between an AKK 2E and a UC1K, I would base it purely on feel. And if you're unable to feel them, have a feel of your current ukuleles and kind of figure out what it is that you're comfortable with, because the rounder, more kind of polished feeling neck is probably the one that feels the most high end, but actually the squared off neck feels very, very comfortable for a long period of time if you play a lot of bar chords. That's something we don't talk about often on this channel, but definitely something worth considering when you're looking at two identically priced ukuleles made of the same wood from the same brand, is what are the differences, and the differences are all really in the hands. We're going to play them both for you now, starting with the AKK2E and ending with the UC1K. Next up today, whoa, look at that ukulele reflecting in the light. This is the UC5K, so this is the top koa model that AnueNue do. This is the koa kind of version of the Moonbird, but with some slight decorative enhancements. 5A koa wood, that's why it's the 5 and they don't just go UC 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a 5A koa. So only the best wood gets put on these ukuleles. This looks like a barcode. It's just so there's so much figuring to this wood. I haven't even shown you the side yet. Look at the side. Look at it. It's beautiful. The back as well on this particular one is just stunning. So I'm really fussy with the 5s. So what I've always done is I always make sure I get pictures before they get sent to me, because these are a big step up in price, and you really, really want to look at this and go, this ukulele, this is the top model in the range. So I've always liked this. I always liked it in a concert size as well. You get a really nice kind of, I don't know, everything feels a little bit more accentuated on the smaller side with the curves on the cutaway. You have a really stunning rosette. I actually think AnueNue do rosettes as well as anyone. Maybe kanile'a would give them a good run for their money, but these are beautiful, aren't they? You have you have white mother of pearl dots going up the fingerboard to a slotted headstock with the AnueNue logo. Had a customer recently send us a picture of him doing the AnueNue stance. It kind of looks like somebody is stuck between two walls that are closing in on them. Is that a bit morbid? Probably says more about me than the ukulele. And then you have the geared tuners. It's a satin neck, mahogany neck with a gloss body. You have front and back maple and 2-ply binding on either side of that. And I really like the way the heel joint and the cutaway look together. You never really get bored of looking at that and how they've put it into place. The UC5K is the natural progression from the Ukes we've just looked at. There is a model in the middle, the 3K. I've not had one of them for a very long time, because I think that for the difference in price, as a shop guy, as somebody looking to find the ukuleles that I want to sell, I always feel like, if you're going to pay double the price for better koa, it needs to be absolutely the best koa you could get. So this is a UC5K. It's stunning. It sounds good. I'm going to show you now. Next up today, we're going to talk about a couple of the Singer ukuleles. Singer is a sub-brand that AnueNue have set up to produce more 1930s Gibson-inspired ukuleles. So the kind of bluesman ukuleles, that kind of classic, the sunburst finishes and golden era guitar spec ukuleles, which is something that not many people have been doing, but it's something that is always popular. If you think about the Sumi ukuleles that we talked about from the NAMM show, I don't think I even actually ever featured the video because they sold so quickly, but that traditional style ukulele definitely has a place in the modern world, and AnueNue can see that. So they've produced a line called Singer. The hard cases are different. They're very cool. They are British racing green coloured hard case, and the spec's different, and quite often they are a burst finish. So this one here is the RT1M TS. The TS stands for Tobacco Sunburst. This is all solid mahogany, so a high-end mahogany ukulele. But the good thing about mahogany is it's fairly cheap compared to Hawaiian koa, some of the more specialist woods. So this ukulele is much more affordable than a Moonbird, but spec-wise, feel-wise, a very similar quality with very different and very distinct sunburst finish. You have mahogany top, back and sides with an ebony fingerboard and bridge. Even the neck on this has been burst, which is a nice feature. That's always the thing people don't do, and for me it ruins the whole look when you have this really lovely sunburst and gloss and then just like an unstained mahogany neck. You have the Singer headstock, which looks suspiciously just like the AnueNue headstock, but with a little bit more of a kind of top to it. Once again with the planetary tuners. I think I get asked quite a lot which AnueNue ukuleles are my favourite by customers, like which one would I go for? I actually think the singers are my favourite to look at. The singers are the ones that I can see myself playing. So, you know, giving you my own opinion, like the Moonbirds are fantastic, and I totally get why people would go for that. I've just always had a soft spot for symmetrical ukuleles, probably because I'm left-handed. So this one here, every time we've ever had one of these, I've played it for just a little bit too long, and I've had to put it away and then never play it again. That's the kind of feeling I get from these ukuleles. So this is the RT1M, so the Mahogany model, but they also do one made of koa with what they call the iced tea finish. This is the R1TK, I think it's the IT. I'll put the code in the bottom of the screen, it might be a letter different. And this is Hawaiian koa, so a lovely Hawaiian koa top, back and sides, with a reddish sunburst, more like a Gibson Hummingbird, but really contrasts nicely. The orange and the red together with the wood grain is really special on this ukulele. And apart from that, it's the same spec. They come with that gorgeous British racing green hard case, ebony fingerboard and bridge, singer headstock with the planetary tuners, and the front and back maple binding on this one as well, which definitely adds something to it because it's a really nice figured piece of maple. They've not half-assed anything about these ukuleles. I think they're just really special. Let's give both the singers a play, so comparing Mahogany to koa, and see what you think. Mahogany versus koa. Presence. The Mahogany has more presence on the C and the E. The koa one's a bit lighter and fluffier. That's the answer. And on to the final ukulele of the day today. This is the AnueNue Black Whale. The Black Whale is the natural evolution of the Moonbird. You have the features of the Moonbird, but it's taking into account the evolution and innovation of the last 5 years of ukulele, where lots of luthiers have started to make really ornate stories and patterns. See the PB Whale that we looked at last week, the Owlcraft ukuleles that we've had in the past. There's no denying that features and detail are important to people, but AnueNue haven't just kind of gone, let's make a very, very pretty Moonbird with a story. The actual spec of this ukulele is distinctly more interesting, I think, than the whale motif that they've fitted on the instrument itself. This ukulele has a double top. The double top is cedar and maple. So you have a cedar top with a maple top laid on top. So it's two solid tops together, if that makes sense. It's a technological advancement that I first saw on guitars about 10 years ago. Owlcraft experimented with some double tops in the past, so we've had things like this before, but actually the mixture of cedar, which is a very soft wood and very loud and reflective and warm, and then maple, which is just absorbent and smooth, and it's kind of like putting your two favourite puddings together. And then to have Indian rose with back and sides is smart. So the back and sides of this ukulele are a dark wood that is, it does look slightly stained, but could just be a very dark piece of wood on this particular one. So you have the black back and sides, and then the stained black maple top laid over a cedar top. The rosette on this ukulele, I don't even know what to say about it. It's just very, very sexy. They've dyed some woods there. I think they've dyed some maple blue. You've got some Hawaiian koa in there. You've got some mother of pearl. It's just very, very, it's a very beautiful a candy cane floral arrangement there. You have the koa whale's tail at the bottom of the body, and then on the fingerboard itself you have the whales dancing their way upstream as you go up the fingerboard to the headstock, where that motif ends with another whale display. The body on this ukulele is gloss. The neck on this is satin. It feels like a Moonbird, but obviously has more detail in the wood spec and I want to say ornamentation. My brain is not working today. I need more coffee. The ornate nature of it as well. I haven't played this, so the first time I'm going to play this ukulele will be on camera for you now. I'm going to play the Black Whale. Let's see what we think. I have no idea how many ukuleles we featured today, but it was a lot. It was a lot because I have a pile of ukuleles behind the camera that is intimidating me as I speak to figure out where I put them and whether they go back on the wall or go back in the stockroom. That's not your problem, no, that's my problem. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, you can call us on 01202 430 820 or email me at alex@ukulele.co.uk. We've been loving our Friday jams recently. If you don't follow us on Facebook, TikTok or Instagram, but you're on those platforms, give us a follow. We put lots and lots of content up there. Me and my boys, Romeo, Phil, Gunsy and Adam, we do a video every single Friday. We sit down, we put together a piece, and it's been some of the most fun times of my life, playing music with my friends and finding a way for getting paid to do it. So feel free to come on our social media and jump on some of our Friday jams with us. In the meantime, though, AnueNue back in stock at Southern Ukulele Store. I'm sorry it took us so long, but we've got a fantastic range now, as you can see, of concert tenors and baritones. Have a good day. I'll see you next week.